Evolutionary or podcast coming your way, guys. Good evening, guys and gals out there all around the world. Stevesmi here and Rick in the house. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Steve? What's up, guys?
All right, guys. So Q&A, your favorite. Everyone loves the Q&A, so let's get right into it. First guy wants to know, how long and why do I have to wait between cycles? So this is a really, really good one, guys. You know what? This isn't a black and white answer, so let me just straight off the bat and say it. Everyone's going to be different, guys. Blood work is the key. I always tell guys, look for blood work and don't just take, don't get blood work just for your testosterone levels. You got to get blood work on your LH. You got to get blood work on your FSH. You got to get blood work on your organs. All that has to be balanced. Your estrogen has to be balanced. All that stuff has to come back. If your LH and your FSH are lagging, your testosterone levels may be normal, but your LH and FSH are lagging from pre-cycle bloods, you got to wait a little longer. So a good rule of thumb I always tell guys is cycle, PCT, and then twice that time off. And that's a really conservative way to approach it, guys, but that's a pretty good blueprint. But at the end of the day, that's going to really depend on what you use, how long you used it, how much you used it, your body, how old you are, your history, how healthy your HPTA is. All that good stuff is all going to factor in. So there is not a specific black and white answer to it, but you can just follow those tips and you can follow your blood work, and that will kind of lead you in the right direction. What's your experience on this, Rick?
Yeah, look, unless you're a competitor, you got to get off this stuff. You know, guys who compete, you've already got 40, 50 pounds of muscle on you that your body can't hold. Yeah, you're going to have to stay on steroids year round. But if you're just trying to look good with your shirt off, regular guy, just need a little push, you really, out of a 12-month year, you really should only be on about 3, maybe 4 months out of the year. You shouldn't be on half of the time. A third of the year is about good enough for you to be on, and that should keep you looking great and making progress and bettering year after year, as long as you're consistent, diet and all. So you have to take time off. You have to let your organs detox. You have to let your receptors refresh. Psychologically, you want to live the lifestyle and be motivated to train without any drugs. Just for every reason, you really want to come off. If you're not a competitor, if you're getting on stage, trying to win some trophies, different situation. But just guys like you and I, Steve, all those reasons and more, just you need to have enough time off to take proper blood tests. Because when you're on this stuff or just coming off of it, everything's going to be skewed. So that, I mean, what else can I say, right, Steve?
Yeah, it's as simple as that, guys. And don't make the mistake of just saying, oh, I feel good, so I'm just going to jump back on. No. Doesn't mean anything if you feel good. It doesn't mean anything. You got to get blood work. So you can go on evolution.org or Elite Fitness. Go in my signature, Stevesmi. I have a link to how you can get blood work for about $60-65. That's it, guys. That's cheaper than how much it costs to get your car washed. So go get the blood work. Don't be a wuss. Don't be scared to get your arm pricked with a needle. Go get the blood work. It takes like 5 minutes. All right. All right, guys. Next one is, why do I always gain so much weight on steroids the first 3 weeks, then it levels off? So that's a really, really interesting one. And first, let me just say, guys, I'm not a scale watcher. I used to be. And I really, really hate watching the scale. I don't believe in it. I believe in watching the mirror. If your goals are bodybuilding, you watch the mirror. If your goals are strength, you watch the bar. So that's the bottom line on that. Number 2, when you first go on steroids, okay, you'll gain a lot of weight at first. A lot of that is water weight. The reason is very simple. All right. Your body's going to hit a point of homeostasis. Your body's going to hit a point of where it's not going to, you just don't keep gaining forever. All right. If that was the case, then all these guys who run steroids, abuse steroids for 10, 20 years, they'd be 500 pounds of muscle by now. It doesn't work like that. Your body's always going to fight. Your body's going to prevent you from gaining weight. You don't want to keep gaining weight forever. You will basically give yourself a stroke if that was the case. So your body has ways. Your body's like a furnace. It's going to adjust. you start gaining weight too fast, your body's going to adjust to that, and it's going to stop that adjustment from happening. And that's just the way it is, guys. That's just the way our bodies are made. Every animal on earth is built that way. We don't just gain forever. You have a baby born, the baby gets bigger, the baby gets bigger, the baby gets bigger. Once you hit adult stage, you don't grow anymore. Our bodies mature. So to expect your body as an adult to just grow nonstop, that tells me that you probably haven't built a proper base yet. If you really just want to gain, what base did you put on? You know, are you a skinny guy who just wants to put on, 50 pounds and get big? Well, most of that's going to be water and fat. You're not going to put lean muscle tissue on in a short amount of time. So take a long-term approach to this, guys. You don't want to gain a lot of weight fast. So, that's usually what happens. But, typically, the first few weeks, you'll gain the most out of your cycle. That's completely normal. And that's actually healthy, a healthy alternative. What do you think, Rick?
Well, yeah, I agree that on a conventional cycle, your growth spur is really about 3 weeks. Sometimes if you're kickstarting, those 3 weeks will be right at the start. Sometimes if you have some longer esters, even maybe some Trembolone, I noticed takes about 2-3 weeks to start kicking in. Then your growth spur might start around week 3 or 4. But yeah, conventional cycle, the ones that you'll see on paper, everybody doing, yeah, your growth spur is going to be about 3 weeks. And that's about as much as your muscles can grow under those conditions. Now, I say conventional cycle, regular kind of 10 to 14 week cycle, start, finish, PCT. Growth spur is about 3 weeks long. There's stuff that, let's say guys who compete and they're on steroids year round, on guys on TRT that are on steroids for years, basically you're injecting. There's stuff guys can do. You can, for example, in a really long cycle, like a competition style cycle, you can kickstart 4 weeks with, let's say, D-ball. 4 weeks, 6 week kickstart to your cycle with Dianabol. You get off the D-ball around week 6, keep the steroids going for another 8 weeks, the injectables. And then 8 weeks later, you switch things up and then you get on Winstrol as an oral and some other steroids and you're still on. I mean, there are ways to get your body to grow again. Just adding like insulin or growth hormone or peptides to a cycle, it'll change some of those things up. But your regular conventional cycle, you got about a 3-week growth spur. That's about what your body is going to put out.
All right, guys. So next one, guys. Is it worth it to use cutting steroids if you're over 15% body fat? Let me tell you guys something. We do this, okay, for a reason. We do this. We want to have a 4-pack, a 6-pack, maybe even an 8-pack if we're lucky. We want to be able to see the cuts in our body. And Rick just stood up and showed me his abs, okay? His rock hard abs. Guys, we do this for that reason. Why do this? Why bodybuild if you can't even see your fucking abs? It doesn't even make sense. Now, if you're a powerlifter, you just care about strength, I get it, all right? I've been there, done that. It's a beautiful thing to be able to lift twice as much as the motherfucker sitting next to you on the bench. Been there, done that. But in terms of pure bodybuilding, to use a cutting cycle, okay, you want to be lean as it is. You want to be able to see those cuts, all right? So to go on cycle at 15% body fat or more and to run a cutter like Winstrol or Malsteron or Proviron or Anavar, any of those, you're not going to be able to see those results in the mirror because your muscles are going to be covered in fat. So the logical thing to do would be to lose that fat first. And then once you cut down, then you can run those cutting steroids like Winstrol, Masteron, T-Bol, Anavar, I can go on and on. That's going to be a beautiful thing. And you're going to drive yourself crazy if you run steroids at that body fat, because what's going to happen on steroids, your appetite's going to go up, your you're going to be building. Steroids help prevent mass wasting. So you're going to drive yourself crazy. You go on at 50% body fat, you go up to maybe 16, 17% body fat on cycle. And then you're like, oh, I want to cut. So you cut back down to 15%. Then you go back on steroids. You're up to 17%, 16%. You're going to drive yourself crazy. So why not just go from fucking 15% down to like 7, 8%? Then you can go on the fucking cutting steroids. And then you'll get fucking ripped as fuck. And you'll be getting all the bitches at the beach next summer. What do you think, Rick?
I like that. That's good motivation there, bro. Look, I've seen professional bodybuilders that go up as high as 15% during the off season and whatnot, but that's not your situation most likely. If you're 15% body fat, core lifestyle issues that you have to deal with. You've let yourself go. You fell off the wagon. There's really no reason for anybody to get up that high. So 15% body fat, no, you got to, I would say bring it down to 11, 12, 10-ish. And then you could really, you throw some steroids on there. But 15%, you're way too high up to be doing, to really be doing steroids. And look, and it depends on the situation. We had a caller one time who was higher than that, about 19%, but he was already on TRT anyway. So maybe a bit of a different situation for him. He was already on testosterone replacement therapy. But, you know, if you're just 15% body fat and you're trying to get down, good diet, training, habits, maybe some over-the-counter supplements can help out. Once you start to scratch 10%, that's when you want to throw in the sauce, that you'll be okay. And ideally your goal, my goal, everybody's goal out there, I think, sustain the single digits year round while being natty. That's the world I like to live in. You know, staying around 8, 9% body fat, 7 on a good week, because it'll fluctuate. Mine's will go from 7% to 9% from one week to the next, and then come back down, depending on what I'm doing. So that's you want to be able to stay there without steroids. That's kind of, you know, steroids will give you a push to maybe make the progress that you would have made, put on the muscle that you would have put on in a couple of years in a 12-week, 16-week span for good cycle, good post-cycle therapy. And then you want to be able to maintain as much of that as you possibly can while staying off the steroids and not needing to toxify any of your organs to look that good. So core lifestyle issues. If you're 15%, core lifestyle issues. Get yourself down 10, 11, 12%, 9%. You know, if you get yourself down naturally to 9% while still holding on nice amount of mass, once you put the steroids on, man, you'd be incredible. Nice cutting cycle, look great. But you're coming down from 15%. I mean, the best case scenario, if you got like some Winstrol and Masteron and you're doing something good and you're dieting down, best case scenario, you know, 3-4 weeks into your cycle, you're not going to be 10%. You're not going to drop 5% body fat in 4 weeks just like that. So it may be a waste of time. But if you start off at 11%, you cut down, man, how might you look at 6, 7% body fat? You know, that's a nice picture. Nice picture for the Instagram, right? So what do you think, Steve?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's for sure. And you know, we all see this on the forum all the time. And guys, they'll even do logs, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna run cutting steroids on 15%," and then they'll get to page 4, page 5 of the log, and then we'll never hear from them again. So I really think that guys, the best thing to do is everyone wants to be stubborn on this, and they don't want to listen. But you know, if you get on the proper diet and you cut down, it will not take you long, assuming, I mean, you've been there before, to cut back down. But if you've been fat all your life, if you've been 20, 25% body fat since you can remember, and now you're down to 15%, yeah, it's going to be harder to come back down. I'm not going to bullshit you on that. And at the end of the day, not everybody was born to be a bodybuilder. So in that situation, But I mean, if you were lean before you fell off the wagon, like Rick said, and you want to get back, your body remembers how lean you were. So it's just a matter of getting back on the wagon, guys, and changing up what you throw out your body. So
Main thing for everyone out there is you have to be more in love with your physique than with food, and then it gets easier from that point on. So if you just love your physique, love the way you look more than you do food, than stuff in your face, things will get easier from that point on. But that's the number one hurdle. That's what makes people fall off the wagon. That because look, even if you were really too busy to go to the gym, like some people say, you could have still ate right. Not too busy to eat right. You're not too busy to fast for a day or two. So at the end of the day, love your physique more than you do food and tastiness and sweets and bad fats and all that shit. And it'll get easier from then on.
all right, guys. So this one's for you, Rick. And this could be many different reasons for this, but this guy wants to know how come different supplements keep upsetting his stomach. So can you help this guy out? Maybe go through some of the more common supplements and ways you can avoid stomach upset.
Most people out there have terrible gut health. Number one, most people out there have terrible gut health. Also, people who consume marijuana tend to also have pretty bad gut health. They just they maybe don't know it, don't feel it because the consumption kind of numbs them to that. But a lot of people have bad gut health. So before even taking supplements, you should be taking about 30 grams of dietary fiber per day. You should be taking probiotics, and you should take some digestive enzymes to help your food along. Probiotics are real important because there are some antibiotics we still get in our meats, whether you want to accept it or not. We do. And once that meat reaches your colon, it still have some antibiotics, and they'll kill some of the good bacteria. Also, some of the sweeteners, artificial sweeteners, throw your gut bacteria will throw it all out of whack. So you have to take care of those things first. Once that's all taken care of, it's a good chance most supplements and most stuff you take is going to sit well with you. You know that, but it's hard to really know if it's a particular supplement that really made your stomach upset, or if it was your digestion just wasn't great to begin with. And then you do put something on your system like a supplement that it's a dry powder, and it'll just bring out any issues you already had. So the main thing is I think gut health. I think most people suffer from bad gut health, and they tend to blame certain supplements or certain meals or whatnot, but it's really gut health. So everyday fiber, probiotics, and digestive enzymes to help some of those meals along. If you have a heavy meal, digestive enzymes, take them right after your meal, and it'll make everything digest so much better.
All right, guys. So this is a fun one, relationship topic of the day. So let's talk about this one. This is one we've all experienced. So let's get into it. This guy is saying that he's very upset because his girlfriend keeps making him go out with her friends, and he doesn't really like any of them. He says that they're kind of immature. They're into drinking too much. They don't really fit, his lifestyle in bodybuilding. So he wants to know what he should do about this. So again, Rick, I'm going to bring you in first on this, and I'm sure you've been in this situation before. So what's your advice for this guy here?
Are they hot at least? Are they good looking?
See, that's the lesson for her. If he goes out and he hooks up with one of her friends, then she can't bitch about it because that
Well,
was her fault.
he doesn't drink, and he's taking some girls out that do drink. I mean, I mean, there are porn movies that start off that way. So I'm sure there's probably a Bang Bros movie that starts off just like that. The bodybuilder doesn't drink, going out with a bunch of girls that drink. Look, I think we've discussed this in previous podcasts when we talk about relationship stuff. if you're in this relationship with somebody that doesn't share your lifestyle, it just continues to get tougher from then on out. It's one of the things you have to be aware of. So if she doesn't share your lifestyle and she's insisting you partake in hers in that regard, I mean, that's tough. I know what goes through the mind of a meathead when you're sitting there at 2, 3 in the morning watching people drink. You're sitting there thinking about, when is my next protein meal, and I'm not sleeping. I'm not recovering my muscles, my GH, my pituitary is not producing, GH during REM sleep. It's yeah, definitely not the place you want to be at. So if you're
But I
in a
mean, that drinking aside, though, what happens
right,
if she just wants you to go out, even to dinner or anything with her friend? You don't like her friends. It's like a bunch of her friends, and sitting there and
well, unless they're like attacking you in some regard, if they're just silly, just don't pay them any mind. Don't I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't just don't pay them any attention. If it's something you have, sometime you have to share with your girlfriend. Don't pay them any attention, or just try to make sure you go to places where you don't have to hear them talk, like the movie theater, like a well, if they like if they like to go drinking, a club with loud music, library, just somewhere where they have
but I
to
mean,
be quiet.
I think the bottom line is though he doesn't want to go. That's the point. But she makes him go
Yeah, but
hang out
okay,
with
so
her
so go,
friends.
going
You know
back
what I'm saying?
going so going back to my first point, right? Unless if she's your girlfriend, unless she's just a hookup buddy, if she's your girlfriend, you're expected to go places with her. That's kind of what you're in the relationship for. So if you knew her friends were silly before, if you knew she lived that kind of lifestyle and you're in the relationship now, what are you complaining about? That part I don't get. Like, okay, going out and doing things socially with your girl, that's that's part of being in a relationship. Playing house with a girl is, you go do stuff with her family sometimes too. So these are all things that he should have considered before he settled for this girl, because that's what it sounds like he settled, right? So that, he's in a relationship with somebody who doesn't share his values, and it, it sounds like they should just be casual, so he's not under pressure to socialize with her friends. Sounds like they
Have you ever dated a girl and had to go to a wedding and like sit through a fucking entire day wedding and you were like, fuck, this shit's like a waste of time. This is so fucking boring. Have you ever been through that?
I try not to.
Let's just say you had to go to a fucking wedding, spend the whole day. It's like, oh my gosh, and you don't know anyone there. It's just like people you're never gonna see again. It's just like why am I here? Type of thing.
I try not to.
Well, how do you get out of it then?
I really, well, I really value my time. So when I go into any sort of situation with a girl, I put that at up front. I really value my time more than anything. And so going in, okay, by the time she gets the invitation of, hey, you come into this wedding plus one, by the time she opens the invitation, she'll already know I'm not the plus one. Before so I don't I just you just when you come into the situation, you want to make sure that you opting out of weddings and opting out of going out with the girlfriends won't keep you from getting the poontang, from getting sex. If you just make sure to lay that groundwork down from the start, then it'll never become a thing. But if you're already earning it, the way you're gonna get in her hands or her relationship or whatever is like doing these time consuming things like picking her up from work and like going to the shopping center and going to the visit the mom. Like if that's kind of part of your earn it value with her, then you're going to be expected to do that. So you have to kind of, if you're a man and you're focused on your goals and you're focused on your mission in life and you're focused on your things, and she knows that going in, then you'll be okay to opt out of all that. You're okay to opt out of those things, but you have to from the start not make it about that. You can't earn her that way with your time that way. That's it. Look, it just to sum it all up, he just let the situation get to a point where he's got to do those things. And if he tries to back out now, it's done. She's not going to stand for it.
So there's nothing you're saying. There's nothing he can do now. He's pretty much fucked. Or can he? Was there something he can just pull her aside and be like, "Look, I want to spend time with just you. I don't mind. I have time to spend. I just want to spend it with you. I don't want to spend it with you and 6 other of your friends. I want to just spend my time with you. You can go spend time with your friends. That's fine. I don't got a problem with it. But I want to spend time with you one-on-one when we're hanging out." If he says that and she says something no, then pretty much cut the relationship off. Agree or no?
Well, just don't say it that way. You can say anything. You'd be surprised just what you can propose and get a woman to agree to. You just have to say it and frame it the right way. You just have to kind of say it and frame it the right way. So if you say it kind of in a, like, if you're like just finally fed up and then you go and tell her, that's the kind of stuff you're going to be apologizing for later on. So if it's already in your mind, don't wait until that day when it's too much. You sit down, you write it out like a letter, you like a script. Wait a day, read it over, really if you really like her that much and, you're walking on eggshells to this degree, right? You got yourself into that situation already. Then make sure you just present it in the best possible way. Make it about her, about just spending quality time with her. I love to do things just you and I. Your friends are cool, but that should be your girl time with her. And I'll be at the gym, I'll be, whatever. And then you have to make it about kind of her. You know what I mean? That's it. Or just tell her just straight up, I think your friends flirt with me.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, you could just plant that seed. Look, yeah. It's your opinion.
I'd be like, look, I really enjoyed last night, but let me tell you something. Jenny, she came on to me, and I think she was being flirtatious. I'm not comfortable going out and hanging out with them anymore, and but I think that would solve it. That would solve it. But like, from now on, let's just hang out, me and you. We can hang out with them maybe once a year or something, but I don't feel comfortable in that situation.
Yeah, look. At the end of the day, you'd really want to not have to lie ever. I think but look, you just don't like hanging out with them. They have and I know what you're talking about. Sometimes you'll know 2 or 3 people that are just such good friends that they speak their own language. And it's just annoying to be around them because they speak their own kind of lingo and they have all these memories and things they recall and stuff. So it's annoying. So, I mean, I guess I get it. Ideally, you'd have to not lie or make anything up. Ideally, just what you feel like, hey, you guys just have a good time together. I'm kind of the odd man out. Plus, I dislike them. I'll tolerate them because you're my girl, and they'll never know how much I dislike them because you're my chick, and I don't want to make your friends feel uncomfortable. But I'd rather opt out of hanging out with them.
I once was in this situation, and I politely declined. And the girl told me, she's like, it was her birthday party. And she was going to hang out with like 10 of her friends. I never met this people. This girl was probably maybe 8 years younger than me. So all her friends were like 10 years younger than me. And I was like, look, I don't want to be an amateur. So I told her straight up, I was like, look, I'm not really into that scene, I just want to not hang out with them. So, and like all her friends like got so insulted by that. And it was basically, she told me, she's like, look, it's my birthday and I've never had a serious boyfriend and I want to spend my birthday with my boyfriend. And so that's kind of what happened. So it's a dicey situation for sure. At the end of the day, like sometimes it's better just to grin and bear and just go there and just pretend you're having a good time and just, it's just like 2 or 3 hours and then like, cut the night short or whatever. Just be like, yeah, I got to go home and walk my dog or something. So
if it's once a trimester, yeah. But if you've got to do that week in and week out. No. Like if you've got to go with the friends, once every trimester, yeah, all right. But yeah, it can't be part of your. So look, you should never be in a situation where you have to hang out with people you dislike. Maybe outside of work, I guess a lot of people have jobs that deal with people they dislike at work, but I guess this is a different situation. Relationship wise, you shouldn't have to do that, and she shouldn't have to stop hanging out with her friends because you don't like them. She should be able to just have girls' night out or whatever. Out. That's what I think. I don't know.
Yeah. Let her have her own fucking, girls' night out,
Yeah,
whatever,
but
and
from
then
this
just leave me the fuck alone.
from this start, you have to lay the groundwork down from the start. And if you're a man, you're about your business and you're about your goals and your mission in life, and you really are doing it and you really are working on it every day. She should understand. She should understand. It should be something that she should understand and respect. So you should never have the pressure, never have to have a whole thing about I don't want to hang out with your friends anymore. It should be that when you get into a relationship that all those things, all that groundwork is laid down from the start. Like, hey, we hung out with your friends that one time. They're cool, but not I'd rather be at the gym. You hang out with your friends. I'll be at the gym. You and I'll just hang out, you and I, when it's time. And if you do that, from the start, you're good. But you're gonna wait until months and months later of hanging out with her friends, maybe laughing at some of their jokes, to then kind of turn around and say, I'd never liked them to begin with. Yeah, probably not. Probably not a good look.
All right, guys. Evolution or podcast, guys. Appreciate you guys listening. We'll have another Q&A next week for Stevesmi and Rick. We'll talk to you guys next time. Thank you.
Have a good one, Steve. Have a good one, guys.
Guys, this is the required legal disclaimer. We are only sharing our experience from years of steroid use. We are not doctors, and none of what we say should be regarded as medical advice. Always check with your doctor before taking any drugs or starting any training program.